Unfortunately, if I'm around, it's known. So there is constant monitoring from the NRO satellites of my location and what I'm doing, but it doesn't stop the ETs. But what it means is that they may not fully materialize, they may materialize briefly, and then they'll be there in a trans-dimensional form. Let me talk about that for a moment. When you have something that is of extraterrestrial origin, and a woman asked me this yesterday after the talk, because she'd had an encounter with what looked like a spirit being, astral, but it had a helmet and had space gear on. I said, yes, but you have to understand, if you're going faster than the speed of light, you're in a condition very close to what we would call a lucid dream state. That's why that area out at Area 51 is called Dreamland. Because the experiments they've done, the people the men in those systems experience almost like a lucid dream state because they're quasi-materialized. This is being done in classified human projects. Interstellar civilizations, when they're going faster than the speed of light, a priori are not in this form. Why? Because if you go faster than the speed of light, you cannot be in a accreted, concrete, linear, three-dimensional form. You literally, through very high voltage, resonant frequency systems, this thing slips out of linear space-time and goes into what we would call the near astral, or other dimension. And it travels then at multiples of the speed of light, and then reappears and rematerializes where you are. Now, if they materialize or begin to materialize, they send off a series of electromagnetic energies that National Reconnaissance Office satellites have detectors. They're called neutrino light detectors, and they pick them up, and then they target them. We had an extraterrestrial vehicle emerging from Mount Shasta a few years ago, and it was right at the point of materializing. It was in a brilliant white. It was almost like a celestial white disk floating towards us. And in this case, it was a 747, or a big aircraft that had been circling, watching the area, and it fired one of these scalar weapons. And you couldn't see anything. All you heard, and there were people on this who were there, who are here today with my team, you just heard this thing roaring from space, and it plowed a few hundred yards in front of us and crashed into the side of the mountain, and actually ripped the trees down and then burrowed into the earth and went just before that thing fired. This ET craft dematerialized, but they were still there.